Haha. J-Porks here. I know I've been a little busy working on this resist stuff, getting all these podcasts in order, fighting fascism. But today we're kicking it old school. We're going to talk about a little thing called music. This is Least Coast Radio.
Yes, you're all probably wishing for the days where I used to only talk about music, but things have gotten serious. The whole basis of this podcast used to be just trashing what music news websites for their clickbait nonsense. I got away from that. But Jay, you're not a journalist. I know, I'm a concert archiver. Showrunner, concert confessions, social media, meat puppets, Jay Porks podcast, Least Coast Radio.
Hey yo, what goes on, peeps? J-Porks here, back with another wacky Wednesday edition of Dyze in Your House. You know what we do on wacky Wednesdays? Once a month, we kick it old school. We talk about music. That's right, folks. I promise you, for the next 10 or 15 minutes or so, I'm gonna hit you with a short burst of music news that was concerning me. This is the April 2018 episode of Dyze in Your House, the Ain't Nothing But Music edition. Now, what we do is every week, let me just tell you what we do. Every week on Friday, we come with a brand new action-packed edition of Dyze in Your House. That is about a 20-minute podcast, usually a little more than that. And we talk about all of the things rising fascist regime in America. Now, we needed that podcast to come to you on Least Coast Radio every Friday. We needed to come with a podcast network because it is so hard. There is way more than 1 or 2 stories a week that you need to be concerned about. Things that are dangerous are happening, and you need to pay attention. So that's why I give you, every Monday, you get the J-Porks podcast, right? So that's about an hour or so of, you know, me railing against the fascist machine. Important stories. Things you need to pay attention to. Not porn stars, not tweets, but actual dangerous policies that are being implemented by people who are complicit in conspiring against the U.S. government to win an election. But again, that's Fridays, that's Mondays. So we do that on Mondays, and there was so much that we had to start a podcast network called Least Coast Radio. That's for the least heard voices. And that's where you'll get J-Porks, me, every Friday, and sometimes on Wednesday. On Wednesday, once a month, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to give you guys a little bit of music. Ain't nothing but music, right? I have to give it to you. Because people used to like that. This is what I used to do. I used to come on. I used to complain about things I saw, music-wise, headlines, actual things bands are doing that bothered me, shows, tours. I used to talk about it. That used to be my podcast, believe it or not. But then things happened. Things changed. Priorities got switched up. And until we get back to a place of normalcy, if we ever get there again, I will be spending over an hour a week railing against the fascist machine forever until it goes away or until I'm dead. But today we rail against not much of a machine. We talk about music. So some things happened. Some tours went down. It's summertime. It's summertime, so tours are going to get announced. Bands are pairing up. Oh, you got an album out? We got an album out. We think we have an album out. Let's tour together. Cool. And it's happening. All over. All over. I know I texted my girlfriend Amanda at least 3 tours this week that I want to go see. And later on in the podcast, as I hate this instrumental so much because it has some random pause in the middle of it, Like, am I supposed to do a skit? I used that joke last time. Alright, forget I used that joke. Later on in the podcast, towards the end, we're going to go to On This Day, and we're going to talk about what I did, what I was doing 4 years ago, because I saw some epic concerts 4 years ago on this day, 5 years ago on this day. So we will talk about that, and all of that stuff is... And first of all, you need to know that, like, every episode of an action-packed Music Wednesday, Wacky Wednesday, Dyze in your ears, if we want to call it that. And with this, you should just always have contentconfessions.com open and using it as a point of reference. Because a lot of the stuff I talk about has been covered at contentconfessions.com. So, speaking of contentconfessions.com, one of the biggest stories, I believe it was 2012. And this is a time where, you know, I was really enjoying, like, I was really trying to make Content Confessions more of like a, instead of just reviews, I was trying to get like topical news, like tour dates and like stuff that was on the late night shows, like videos and stuff like that. Trying to just get people to visit a little more, like more reason to come there. So in like 12, I think it was, I was all over the tour dates, man. I was all over the tour dates, and I would have posts up, and I would like, you know, basically my whole day besides the 4 hours I was waiting tables was that. So there was I'll never forget this afternoon, man, when Summerland, the first ever Summerland, I'll never forget when that lineup came out and those tour dates came out. It wasn't that it was the greatest lineup, it was just, it was cool because it was like 90s bands getting together. It was Everclear, it was Sugar Ray, it was Marcy Playground, it was Lit, and Gin Blossoms. It was an action-packed like lineup, and the tour dates, when they went up, because I forgot another batch of tour dates dropped that day, and me and Reverend Justino, he was like, all right, I'll get Summerland, you get this, and I was like, cool. And we watched the clicks, man, and I've never seen, that was one of the, still to this day, probably on Content Confessions, the most viewed post was people getting the Summerland tour date. So I've always had this affection towards Summerland, you know? Every time they dropped a lineup, I feel like, oh wow, those were the good old days when I used to be like, you know, music journalist guy. Now I'm just tape shows and have fun guy and pass along the experiences to you. But this year's Summerland 2018, Everclear, because it's Art Alexis's tour, Everclear, Marcy Playground, and Local H coming to a town near you. Even though it's Summerland, so it should be outdoor venues, but it didn't seem that it was outdoor venues. The venue in the city, the venue in Philly, they're indoor venues. I don't like it. I like the show. I don't like Summerland being an indoor thing. Name it something else, you know? I mean, the first year of Summerland, when I was on the PNC lawn, that felt like Summerland. And I understand that you get some 90s bands, and you're probably not expecting to sell out, like, you know, outdoor venues. But listen, I don't think that's what it's about. In terms of, like, if you're trying to, you know, bring back the 90s, you know, once a summer, you know, it's got to be outdoors, man. Irving Plaza in New York City, like, I hate that venue. I've seen so many shows there, and I hate the security. I hate where it is. It's where I bought the fake Alice in Chains tickets. It's where they stopped me from recording The Darkness. It's where the one good spot that was left in the place was taken by a VIP section that nobody asked for. That they have one of those upstairs. I don't know why they needed one downstairs. The sightlines are terrible. The sound isn't good. They called it the Fillmore for a while. It's not the Fillmore. A lot of things I hate about Irving Plaza. And I went and saw Summerland there a couple of years ago. It was think it was 14 or 15. It was Everclear. It was lit. Space Hog. What's the other band? Random stoppage of my background music. But anyway, if you go to contentconfessions.com and you search Summerland, you will get all you'll see all the past lineups of Content Confessions and all the Summerland shows that we've seen at contentconfessions.com. And if I can type fast enough, I will actually be able to get it up. So let's just, because I've been to a couple. Okay, so 2012 was Everclear, Sugar Ray, Gin Blossoms, Lit, and Marcy Playground. I got that right. And then in 2013, it was Everclear, Live, Filter, and Sponge. In a break off from Sugar Ray. Then in 2014, it was Everclear, Soul Asylum, Eve 6, and Space Hog. I got into that for free based on photo credentials through Content Confessions. I could have got in through Meat Puppets and Soul Asylum, but I didn't want to go down that road. And I was there at Irving Plaza. So there was that. And this year it's Everclear, Marcy Playground, and Local H. So if I am going to go to Summerland, I will make sure to get as far away from Scott Lucas as possible. So, like, also, a little behind the scenes here. So, the background music is on repeat on YouTube, right? So, every time the song ends, it's about 6 minutes long or something like that. Every time the song ends, an advertisement plays. So, if you haven't heard the advertisement, that means I've been pausing it on time. Been pausing it for the 15 seconds and then clicking play when it starts up again. But there was just a commercial for, like, My Fair Lady on Broadway. Is it wrong for me to want to go see that? Because my class read the book last year, and the movie I found pretty entertaining. Okay. Anyway, I know I'm a loser. Let's move on. Summerland 2018 is going to be lit. But lit's not there. So it's not really going to be lit, but it's going to be lit. And I would go see it if it was somewhat affordable. And if it wasn't at Irving Plaza. I hate Irving Plaza. We'll see where they are in Philly. Maybe I'll go with my girlfriend down there. Also, in terms of touring, on the last Dyze in Your Ears Music Edition, Wacky Wednesday, I told you that I was going to look into Breeders and the Screaming Females tickets at Terminal 5 on May 1st. I looked into them. And, listen, I love the Breeders. I love the Screaming Females. I don't have $70. I mean, after taxes and fees, it's like $70. And I don't have it. And Terminal 5 is a venue that's deep. I love Terminal 5 as a venue. I just hate getting there. I know a lot of people disagree with me about liking Terminal 5. But those are people that haven't gotten there early enough to get one of the seats up top, along the balcony. Not really a seat. I guess it's a spot. Whatever. Anyway, they got a cool, thing that wraps around. I don't like standing room. So anywhere you put me in standing room, I'm not going to like it, and I'm going to judge it. Another tour that dropped, I think it was this week, or it might have been last week. No, it was this week. It was Bush with the Stone Temple Pilots and the Cult. Now, I don't know. Here's the thing. I got no beef with the Stone Temple Pilots doing this. I heard the new song. If you go to my Spotify and you listen to the monthly playlists, you'll see March we have the new Stone Temple Pilots single. And it's not bad. It sounds like something that the Stone Temple Pilots would put out with Scott, with Chester. It's just, this is why the DeLeo brothers were so mad at Scott Weiland, because they're sitting there. They want to tour like Alice in Chains does, like Third Eye Blind does. They want to do the casino circuit. They want to do the casino circuit, play the hit songs that made them lots of money, get off stage at 10 o'clock, and, not be living on a tour bus. You know what I'm saying? I mean, looks like they're going to be on a tour bus anyway. But Bush, Stone Temple Pilots, and the Cult. coming to a town near you. They're doing outdoor venues because, screw that. And you can check them out. I hear the new guy, the new Stone Temple Pilots lead singer, whose name I'm not going to Google because I don't want to waste any more time. He's not doing the megaphone thing. So, if anyone doesn't like people doing past things from people, you'll be happy to know he's not doing the megaphone. My thing is this, like, when the tour first came out, I was like, wow, man, Stone Temple Pilots on their second lead singer. No, they're on their third lead singer. And I said this to my dad, and I'm not to be, like, I don't want to be, like, negative. And I'm not saying that something bad is going to happen to any human being. Before all is said and done, I guarantee you the Stone Temple Pilots will be on their fourth lead singer. Somehow, because listen, the new guy, if he's good, he'll go on to a solo project. And if he leaves, they're not going to end it because they had 2 lead singers die already and they're going on tour. They're not going to end it again. They're not going to end it. So, if in 10 years the lead singer of Buck Cherry is touring with Stone Temple Pilots, remember where you heard it, on Dyze in Your Ears on Least Coast Radio. Least Coast Radio for the least heard voices. That's right. That's right. So, earlier in the podcast, I teased that on this day 4 years ago, I was doing, and as I read this, I see my Facebook status from April 4th, 2015, and I was talking about a table I was serving, and it says, a table just gave me a 30-minute lecture about how bad marijuana is to society. So, we have this in 2014, this day, which is April 4th. I was getting on a plane returning from Colorado after 2 nights, I want to say it was 4 nights, it was 3.5 nights. I got there, and it was night. And then we had Meat Puppets, Moist Boys and the Meat Puppets the next 2 nights. And then I traveled home the Friday, and that was at midnight. And I spent the whole day in a hotel, high as heck. But it was a really good week. So my friend Linda Kite, who I know through the Meat Puppets, she's a great person. And she lives in California. And I was like, yo, the Meat Puppets had announced the tour. And I was getting a tax return, and I wanted to, I was dead set on that legal pot life. I needed to go see what this was about. So when I saw that that's where the Meat Puppets were playing, I finagled my way, and I got a plane ticket, and, since Linda was going to be there, and she was going to stay at her sister's house, and, there was a place for me, I can vagabond it for the weekend, One night I'll stay here, one night I'll stay there, and that's what I did. It was awesome. But, also, that was the only time I went into a store. I was able to purchase pot, legally. It was weird. It was strange. It was awesome. The only time I saw Voodoo Donuts, people was so nice. I mean, I'm not saying people aren't nice here, but, there was a lot of people at that show, man. And when I would talk to people, I guess New York is different, because everyone's from everywhere and into everything here. But, if you're in, Boulder, Colorado, and you go to the music venue to see the concert, all of these people are they want everyone, we gotta talk about this. Oh, man, I saw them back then, they did this and that, and yeah. And I get online in, the city, and it's oh, man, remember this? And they're who are you? Why are you talking to me? I don't have any money. I'll never forget, one time I was trying to do, I was seeing Bad Religion and Rise Against, and I was why is Rise Against headlining? So I was outside trying to ask people, I was taking a tally of, who's here to see Rise Against, who's here to see Bad Religion, and every single person who I asked said to me, I'm sorry, man. I don't have tickets. I wasn't. They don't even listen to you. They don't even listen to what you say. But in Boulder, Colorado, you know, it was different. People were different. It was just really, it was really fun. And the year before that, in 2013, I was seeing the Meat Puppets in New Hope, Pennsylvania, which was 2 nights of awesomeness as well. New Hope, Pennsylvania is an awesome town. John and Peters, actually, you may have seen. John and Peters was named the #1 bar in Pennsylvania. Like, they did, I don't know what magazine did it, but they just ranked every, like, I think they're calling it a small bar. Every small bar, the #1 in every state. So they got 50. And in Pennsylvania, John and Peters. And that's where Dean Ween has his invitational every Wednesday. That's where I saw the Meat Puppets and the World Takes in 2013 with Dean Ween sitting on the steps watching the Meat Puppets from the side of the stage. It was it's like a room. There was no stage. It's like a carpet. It was amazing. And there was that. It was New Hope. It was Lancaster the night before. And then we came back, and they were doing 2 nights at the Mercury Lounge. And I could not, I had to take a night off, you know, because I was just sleeping. And then I came back the next night. Meat Puppets had released their first single from Rat Farm. And I'll never forget going up to Chris Kirkwood saying, man, the new single's out. And they're like, really? What'd they use? And I'm like, you know, this one. And he's like, oh, man, I of course they used that one. I was like, oh, what? You didn't pick it? He's like, no. And then I went up to the manager, and he's like, I told him that, and he said, but that's the song we picked. That's the song we agreed on. So, communication. Speaking of the Meat Puppets, since it's late enough in the podcast, I'll do this. Segue right in. It's late enough in the podcast. The Meat Puppets are playing Moody. Sorry, what is it? Playing the Muddy Roots Festival. Where is that? It's in Tennessee. And the bands playing are Sleep, X, High on Fire, Wivenhand, Ohm, Jimmy Duck Holmes, Dead Boys, Fu Manchu, Meat Puppets, King Congo and the Pink Monkey Birds, Scott Kelly, L.A. Witch, Those Poor Bastards, Murphy's Law, Reagan Youth, Rebecca Jed. I'm looking at the lineup right now. Anyhow, it's a 4-day festival, and I don't have I don't know what day the Meat Puppets are playing on yet. Oh, but they got like 4th billing on this. That's dope. That's pretty dope to see the Meat Puppets in like the big fonts, you know? They're the big band. Okay, so the Meat Puppets are playing this festival in Tennessee at the end of August. They're also playing, and this is the first you're gonna see this, I believe. They're also playing Summerfest in Milwaukee, and that's gonna get announced today or tomorrow. And when the time slots are figured out for those shows, when the Meat Puppets have a date and time, you can go to the Meat Puppets website, and I will have put the dates on there. The reason why the dates aren't on there now is because I don't have a time slot, and I'm not going to put it up there now without a ticket link and a time slot and all that stuff. So, yes, it's my fault. But I retweeted the Brooklyn Vegan lineup so people know that we're going there, even though I didn't really get clearance to do that. So anyway, Meat Puppets, they're playing Muddy Roots Festival. And they're also going to play, again, this is exclusive to Dyze in Your House, exclusive to East Coast Radio as of press time. They're going to play Summerfest in Milwaukee this summer, too. I'm not sure if they're going to get the top billing on that. So, there's stuff to look forward to. I remember I mentioned on the last music edition of Dyze in Your House, I said that the Meat Puppets might hop on a tour with, like, Dean Ween Group, because the Dean Ween Group has a new record out. That's not happening. Dean Ween Group are touring with... They're touring with somebody. Now it's bothering me. The Dean Ween Group, they played the Brooklyn Bowl recently. I missed that. That gets me mad. But Ween also announced some shows. Ween announced more shows. Like, they're touring more sporadically than they did a couple of years ago. So, like, the breakup wasn't really a breakup. Although I'm of the assertion that Ween should be a special attraction act right now. That's me. I think that they have more value if they tour less. But they're not full-fledged touring. They just announced, like, oh, we're going to do 2 shows here, we're going to do 3 shows here. Because Dean Ween has his own studio now in, I don't know if it's actually New Hope, but it's over there near his house. Finally invested in his own studio. I mean, I say finally because he said finally in the post that he put on Facebook about it. So, there's that. So, to recap, Summerland is something we're on the lookout for. Also, we have Bush, Stone Temple Pilots, and The Cult are coming to a town near you. Those are 2 shows I would like to see, but I probably won't see. In about 16 days, we're taking it out to Williamsburg, to the Berg, to Brooklyn Steel, where we are going to see The Darkness. We believe in a thing called love. We just listen to the rhythm of our hearts. We're going to see them on 420 in Brooklyn Steel. So, I really hope there are no children out there smoking marijuana on that day. Psh, kids these days. Condom challenge. No, I'm not bashing kids. I don't do that. Anyhow, so we're just about done here. The next time you're going to see, well, you're not going to see me. You're going to hear. The next time you're going to hear from me is Friday on a brand new episode of Dyze in Your House, where we're going to talk about fascism, why it's bad, and why, dangerous things in our country every day. Like, basically, it's going to be another reminder that this is not normal. It's never going to be normal. And we're not going to stop until it's fixed. We're not going to stop resisting. We're not going to stop marching. We're not going to stop tweeting. We're not going to stop fact-checking until people vote these people out. That's it. Still not sure what we're going to tackle this Friday. It might be Sinclair Broadcasting. Although, spoiler alert, I took a class in college taught by Brian Cogan, and because I took that class, I knew that Sinclair Broadcasting thing was coming before it came. Does that make any sense? Like, I knew I know that they're not journalists. Well, you know what? That's a good Friday topic. We'll get into that on Friday on a brand new episode of Dyze in Your House on Least Coast Radio. But right now, this has been Wacky Wednesday, Dyze in Your Ears. I'm Jay Porks. This is Least Coast Radio.